Arrest in North Carolina over a girl missing in Tennessee.
And the spread of the coronavirus threatens student academic travel.
Those stories, plus our producers, show us budget-friendly, easy cooking for college life.
You're watching Carolina News Today. A 24-year-old Red Springs man was arrested on Monday for armed robbery. Before the arrest, Jonathan Marcy Mack was out on bond from a previous murder charge in 2019. Officials say that Mack's alleged accomplice in the robbery is Tamos Dean Jones of Shannon, and he's still at large. Officials say that both Mack and Jones have had repeated run-ins with law enforcement. Anyone with information regarding Jones's whereabouts are advised to call the Robeson County Sheriff's Department.
Investigators in upstate New York say they think a wanted fugitive from Wilmington, North Carolina is dead. They say human remains found in those woods in Geneseo last weekend are likely David Clyde Morgan, but they say the body hasn't been positively identified, which could take months. Morgan ran away from a New York police after a traffic stop in July 2018. He was on the run from North Carolina, where officials say he violated his probation. Officers later launched a massive search near Geneseo, but he was never found. Hunters spotted a body Sunday while looking for deer antlers. Medical examiners will use dental records and DNA to identify the remains.
Authorities investigating the disappearance of a Tennessee toddler search a pond in North Carolina Wednesday morning. The pond is located in Wilkes County, north of Wilkesboro. They're looking for any clues about what happened to 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell. She was reported missing in Tennessee on February 18th, but had reportedly not been seen since the day after Christmas. She is also the subject of an Amber Alert. Evelyn's mother, 18-year-old Megan Boswell, was charged Tuesday with filing a false police report. The child's grandmother, 42-year-old Angela Boswell, was also arrested in Wilkes County last week. They're both being held on charges unrelated to Evelyn's disappearance. The City of Lumberton will receive $150,000 to purchase land and to expand a storm water treatment pond. This environmental enhancement grant was announced Monday in the City Council chambers by Mayor Bruce Davis and State Attorney General Josh Stein. Stein's office administers a $2 million annual fund that's paid for by Smithfield's Foods, who settled with the state nearly 20 years ago over hog farm pollution after Hurricane Floyd. Lumberton's 14-acre project along I-95 and Conn Drive is expected to prevent flooding in the Highland Park area by restoring wetlands and should help return cleaner water to the Lumber River.
Robeson Community College has exceeded enrollment expectations and was the fastest growing school in the state system in the fall. Out of 53 North Carolina community colleges that saw increases in their student populations, RCC is up by 24%. The average system-wide increase was 4.4%. In a press release, the president of the community college system said state funding for short-term workforce training contributes to increased interest in the school. They also launched a new marketing campaign. Enrollment had peaked during the recession but has been declining statewide since 2010.
Last week, we told you about a UNCP trip to China that's been canceled because of fears over the novel coronavirus. As it turns out, many American universities are taking no chances with the students they got studying abroad. Here's more from CNN News Source.
It's Joshua Kurtzer's last night in Florence.
Good shot.
He and his roommate are only just digesting the news. They only found out on Tuesday that their semester with an Italian family was being cut short. That's when Syracuse University told them that they had to book themselves their tickets home by the weekend.
We're still obviously kind of in shock, but I'm very disappointed. This is something we've talked about for years. This is something you get excited about. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we're not even halfway through. It's been cut short. I'm pretty devastated.
Personally, I'm very fortunate that my parents are able to, dish out the money and afford it, at least now, in hopes of reimbursement. But I'm sure there are many people on this program who are less fortunate than me, that it's a real struggle for them to get home. And I know a lot of students here saved up their own money for their entire lives to come on this trip, and now those, and spent that. So it's kind of in flux. It's really disheartening.
There's only been 2 cases of coronavirus confirmed in Florence, but the American universities are taking no chances. For hundreds of American students here on exchange, Florence was the stuff of dreams. And for an art student like Nick, the city has been a revelation.
It's pretty unbelievable. I mean, that's part of the reason why I wanted to come. And the teachers have been fantastic. Being here and experiencing it versus seeing a picture, it's not the same thing. I'm more honestly disappointed in the fact that the program has since been canceled, so they're sending us home for their liability, and I understand why, but it still doesn't really lessen the disappointment for all the students.
Joshua's managed to get himself on a flight this Thursday morning, so it's time to say goodbye to each other,
Best luck.
to their host mother, and to the semester of their dreams.
Here at UNCP, one student has combined a love for fitness with an entrepreneurial spirit. CNT reporter Austin Ireland tells us students can sign up for a trainer and can pick up some original merch to go with it.
We all know how hard it is to keep ourselves motivated to go to the gym. Someone being in your ear pushing you to stay on track is always a great thing to have. Glaudy Alofa can be that someone for you. Glaudy started his Glow Fitness brand in October 2019 and has been an inspiration to others to stay in the gym. Glow Fitness offers workouts to students on campus and has their own set exercises laid out for people. Glaudy usually demonstrates the set before letting his trainees have a go at it. Some exercises are somewhat easier. Some exercises require some more effort. But the end result will always leave someone trying to catch their breath. The brand is a big advocate for the youth crafting and perfecting their work ethic. Glaudy's own motivation behind starting this centers around them.
I have experience seeing a few, one or two kids that had great potential would probably be great, but they had limitation because of the outside conflict, outside of school, things that they'll go through probably at home, not be able to get 100% support.
Glow Fitness not only offers ways to get in shape, but they also have clothing you can wear while getting in shape. A hoodie featured on the website can be seen with a message that reads, "Well-built physique is more than vanity." Glaudy plans on hosting a back-to-school fundraiser for the upcoming school year to further stress the point that this is for the next generation. He hopes that seeing others invest their time into these workouts can inspire people to apply that mindset into their everyday life. Glaudy credits the people around him and thanks them for joining him on this journey. This is the process that requires preparation for the people to go beyond. A lot goes behind the scenes.
6X without a 6Xer is a failure. In order for me to succeed, my whole team have to succeed. There's more thing that we do outside of what people are able to see.
To schedule an appointment with Glow Fitness, you can reach them at their email, glowfitness1@gmail.com, or request one in person if you see them on campus.
Budget-conscious students can cook delicious meals for themselves fairly easy. So if you're living in an apartment and not on a meal plan, think about taking time to cook with friends. Let our CNT producers Mason Miller and Abigail Brown serve as role models. Take a look.
We know what you're thinking.
Why are they in the kitchen?
And why aren't they in the newsroom? Well,
today we're making quick and easy, college budget-friendly meals.
and today we're going to be preparing some chicken Alfredo with broccoli and a little bit of red pepper. Stay tuned. So, Mason, walk me through. What have we got going on so far?
Yeah, of course. So on this first pan, we have some chicken. On the left, we have some broccoli with our penne and our regular roasted garlic parmesan Alfredo sauce. Now what you want to do first is start your pan on the burner, medium heat, some olive oil, toss the chicken in, and just sear it up on medium to low heat for about 5 to 10 minutes.
So, what's next?
Now you bring a pot to a boil, a medium heat. Let it simmer for a second, make sure it's getting nice, warm, and hot. And then what you want to do is when it's boiling or about to boil, you add your penne pasta in there.
So, we've brought the water to a boil, and I see you added some peppers. What are we going for here?
You know, just a little remix of the chicken Alfredo that typically has broccoli and just chicken in it. I figured adding some pepper might have some more flavor to it, so we'll see how that goes.
We've got the peppers cooked, the chicken's done, the pasta's almost done. What do we do now?
So, we're almost done. Now what you want to do is add the broccoli with the pasta water while it's still on simmer. Once it's almost done, you want to strain both and then add peppers and the chicken and your Alfredo sauce. Put it on simmer or low. Stir it up for about 5 minutes and your plate's almost done.
Great. So it looks like things are wrapping up here. What's next?
Well, make sure your stove's turned off, and next all you do is just plate it and enjoy it.
we've got the final product. It looks delicious. Let's try it.
It took 15 minutes, quick and easy, cheap. That's all you need.
$15. Can't get better than this.
The basil in there, pretty good.
It's really good.
You're right.
Our producers were also busy over the weekend learning about careers in TV news. I went along with them to Charlotte for workshops put on by the Radio, Television, Digital News Association. The Radio, Television, Digital News Association hosted their annual spring workshop on Saturday, February 22nd. College students from North Carolina and South Carolina were able to attend the free event at WNCP-TV in Charlotte, North Carolina. The event involved different sessions where professionals in the broadcast industry shared their advice regarding topics such as photography, production, social media, sports broadcasting, and how to land your first job. Professionals shared their stories so students can learn from their experiences. Students were also able to ask questions throughout the day and receive one-on-one help. UNC Pembroke student Abigail Brown found the workshop answered many of her questions about her future.
I went to a few different sessions. I know I went to one about digital media. I went to one about investigative reporting. I went to one about producing and how to get a job, how to keep a job. All of these things, we had different people from different markets coming to talk to us about it and kind of show us the inner workings of each market and how it would fit for each job we were trying to do.
Networking was a very important part of the day for students soon entering the broadcasting field. Digital sports reporter at WNCT, Kelsey O'Donnell, has only been in the field for 8 months, but shared some encouraging advice for newcomers in the field.
So talking to them today, I think it's important to remember that although it is a very cutthroat and sometimes negative industry, to keep going and understand that there is a future in news, whether it be online or on television, and that you shouldn't take every negative comment to heart.
While we're talking about professionalism, take a look at this North Carolina reporter who gave online viewers a hilarious weather report last week for WLOS in Asheville. Justin Hinton was on Facebook Live in Madison County last Thursday as a part of his station's weather coverage. He says he accidentally activated a filter generated when he started. Hinton had no idea what was happening during this entire feed until he stepped off camera. The clip is going viral. He's even been featured nationally on the Today Show. Hinton says he's just happy he was able to give other people a smile and a laugh.
Former Attorney General Loretta Lynch is set to investigate the campus police at Syracuse University. That's according to a letter from their chancellor Monday. Lynch will investigate how officers handled student protesters earlier this month. The students have been speaking out about a string of racist incidents for which 3 students are being punished. The university suspended the protesters when they wouldn't leave the administration building, but the school has since repealed those suspensions. Amanda Nicholson is a Syracuse University administrator.
Hiring someone as high profile as Loretta Lynch, is that an acknowledgement to the entire nation that perhaps things did not go well last weekend on behalf of the officers?
I think it's acknowledgement that when we decide to do something, we do it as best as we can to make a really good decision. So I applaud the Chancellor getting someone at that higher level. Yes, people have been held accountable, and trust me, we would love to hold everyone accountable. You know, this is not something we relish, having people write hateful, homophobic, and whatever else messages on our walls in our school.
Are you comfortable with how they have been investigated thus far?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have no reason not to be uncomfortable. I think people are working really hard.
Marijuana use has spiked among people aged 65 and older, but doctors are warning that this might not be a good thing. CNN's Meredith Woods tells us why.
The number of baby boomers who smoke marijuana or consume edibles increased twofold between 2015 and 2018, according to new research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. The research finds use was highest among women, racial or ethnic minorities, seniors who were married, college-educated, or had mental health issues, and incomes from $20,000 to $49,000 and $75,000 or higher. And some worrisome findings in the report. Researchers also saw a 180% increase in use among adults with diabetes. as well as an increase of those who use both alcohol and cannabis. In 2015, 2.9% of seniors reported using both. That number more than doubled to 6.3% in 2018, according to the research. Researchers say small studies have shown that cannabis may be harmful for people who recently had heart attacks. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the effects of marijuana differ from person to person and depend on previous use, biology, gender, and how the drug is taken. I'm Meredith Wood reporting.
Senior citizens are also putting themselves out there on the dating circuit and on reality TV in particular. The ABC network is now casting senior citizens who are ready for romance. From the producers of The Bachelor, the casting call says they are looking for men and women, quote, in their golden years. Applicants have to be legal U.S. residents, active, outgoing, and single. More information is posted on the network's website.
Coming up in sports, Braves track and field stands at the top of the podium.
And men's basketball inches closer to a conference title.
But first, it's NCDOT Now.
Welcome to this week's edition of NCDOT Now. I am your host, Miracle King. You have one more week to give the North Carolina Department of Transportation input on what transportation projects you would like to see. The department wants to hear from the public as the state agency prepares for the next 10-year transportation plan. Comments can be submitted through a short online survey or by phone or mail. All comments must be received by 5 p.m. on February 28th. For more information, go to ncdot.gov and click on the link under the box called 10-Year Transportation Plan. It's also time for municipalities and counties to develop plans that focus on bicycle and pedestrian projects. The Bicycle and Pedestrian Planning Grant Initiative encourages plans that focus on enhancing mobility, improving safety, and promoting economic and health benefits. The program is sponsored by the department's Division of Bicycle and Pedestrian Transportation. Since 2004, the program has awarded about $6.5 million to 211 municipalities. Applications must be submitted electronically by 5 p.m. on May 19. Award recipients will be notified by September. That's all for this week's edition of NCDOT Now from all of us here at the North Carolina Department of Transportation. Safe travels.
What's going on, Brave Nation? Welcome back to CNT Sports. I'm Ty, the sports guy. It's been an exciting year for Brave Sports so far. School records have been broken, MEC championships collected, milestones surpassed for coaches and players. And now I have updates to add to these impressive moments. But first, let's talk about our women's golf team who traveled to Hilton Head, South Carolina for the battle at Hilton Head. On day one, sophomore Parker Melton carded a 1 under par 71 to secure second place on the individual leaderboard and the lead for UNC Pembroke golf team to a two-way tie for 5th place. On day two, senior Katie Flax carded a 6 over par 78 in the final round to finish in a two-way tie for 11th place on the individual leaderboard. UNC Pembroke golf team finished 10th place in the final round. Their next match is March 9th when they travel to Vista, California for the Fujikura Invitational. Softball had a doubleheader against Barton College on Wednesday. In the first game, Pembroke used back-to-back homers from Tatum Brumett and Jordan Adcox to take a quick 2-0 lead. The Braves increased their lead with 4 runs on an RBI single from Alex Watkins, along with a bunt from Tatum Brumett to bring in a run and an RBI from Mary Sells. Braves took Game 1 6-3. Carrying that momentum into Game 2, the Braves were able to shut out Barton when their 5-0 lead improved to 8-0 off a 3-run home run from Randy Weatherington. Softball improves their record to now even at 8-8. Their next game is against Limestone today at home. Baseball had a weekend battle against USC Aiken. On Saturday, Game 1, the Braves strung together a group of runs in the bottom of the third inning and cruised to the finish line with a score of 9-2. In Game 2, USC-Aiken opened up the game with a 3-run lead, but the Braves were able to tie the game and extend it into extra innings. On Sunday, after the first 2 innings, it was a back-and-forth trade-off of multiple runs scored, and eventually the game went into one more extra inning. The Braves used Ethan Bochum's solo blast with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th to walk off with 11-10 victory over USC-Aiken for the series sweep. UNCP's indoor track and field had a spectacular showing at the Mountain East Conference Championships. On the men's side, Jathan DeBerry captured an event title in the 60-meter hurdles with an NCAA provisional qualifying time of 8.2 seconds to help lead the men's team to a runner-up finish in the final team standings. Joshua Chepkisser also registered an NCAA provisional qualifying mark with a first-place finish in the 3,000-meter run with a time of 8 minutes, 17.86 seconds. Bradley Thompson also finished first place in the men's high jump with a personal best of 2 meters. For the women's side, Erwin Chapleading won event titles in both the 1-mile and 800-meter runs, while Allie Hudspeth climbed to the top of the podium in the high jump to lead the UNC Pembroke women's indoor track and field team to the 2020 Mountain East Conference Championships. We talked to head coach Peter Ormsby about how he felt about the overall performances from both the men's and women's side.
For them to come away with a victory was emotional, to say the least. And we actually pulled a couple kids out towards the end because we had it by about 70 points, so we didn't want to run up the score too much. And from a medical side, we had a couple people that were a little banged up. So we did that, and the guys put on a heck of a fight versus Charleston. I think at one point they gapped us by about 10 to 15 points. We cut it down to 5. And one of their All-Americans and national qualifiers actually had to jump in his third race, which he had told us and a couple of guys that he was not going to run because it was getting pretty close. And we ended up losing by, I think, 20, which on paper was 15 to 20 points shorter or smaller than the gap that we had originally projected. So all in all, we had four times what we thought we were going to do. The guys outperformed themselves both days, and the girls just outperformed those days. So if we had 1 or 2 people that faltered, we had 3 or 4 more that were definitely in line to do what they did.
Coach Ormsby was also named MEC Women's Indoor Track and Field Coach of the Year. Congratulations to Coach and the men's and women's for their accomplishments. Women's and men's basketball had 2 games since our last episode, one against Columbus State and the other against Francis Marion. Let's start with the Lady Braves. In their first game against Columbus State, UNC Pembroke women's basketball team shot a season-low 17.2%. Junior Melanie Horn led all scorers with 16 points, while also adding 7 rebounds and a pair of blocks. Senior Deja McCain led the Braves on the glass by grabbing a career-high 12 rebounds. Columbus State was able to walk away with the win 48-57. In the game against Francis Marion, the Patriots connected on 26 out of 34 free throws to help them secure the win over the Braves 66-55. Men's basketball wanted to continue their hot streak now that they sit at the top of the leaderboard in the PBC. In the game versus Columbus State, the team was firing on all cylinders. The Braves received 32 points from its bench and used a late 10-2 run to pull away for good. Forward star Akia Pruitt connected on 7 of 11 for shooting with 14 points. And senior Micah Kinsey dished out 6 assists with 0 turnovers. Braves took the dub over Columbus State 82-76. After the game, head coach Tony Jones and forward Akia Pruitt both gave their input on what they do to have the mindset of being champions.
Yeah, our bigs were always a focal point, but we always wanted we try to feed off our defense to create our offense. So once we get the running, there's no team in the country that can stop us. So as long as we take care of the ball and bring it up court, I think we have a chance.
I told them in practice and today, well done is better than well said. You know, we talk a lot about being champions, and tonight they proved that, they wanted to be a champion. So, they played hard defensively when they needed to. We executed when we needed to, and we got the W.
In the game against Francis Marion, the men carried over that energy on the road. The Braves outscored the Patriots by almost 20 points in both halves, scored 22 points off 17 Francis Marion turnovers, and almost shot 50% from the three-point line. Sophomore Jordan Ratliff scored a game-high 17 points, with juniors David Strother and Tyrell Kirk trailing with 13 points in the game. Braves take the win 94-60 and are now one more win away from securing the Peach Belt Conference title. Their next game is Sunday against Georgia Southwestern. And that's all the sports updates I have for you this week. Until next time, I'm Ty the Sports Guy. Extasia, Samantha, back to you.
Thanks, Ty. That's it for us today.
We'll see you next time. I'm Extasia Benjamin.
And I'm Samantha DeBusk. Thanks for watching.